Kofi Akpabli, thanks for joining us. Hello?
Hi, Bernard.
Kofi, my first question is, what are you?
Good morning from Damongo. I'm on bus 2
All right.
with the Caravanites. Let's say hi, Cracker.
Wow. Wow.
So, Bernard, this is day 4, and the fever is high. But you asked a question, what am I? Oh, my God. I think I am what my training and practice and circumstances have made me. I'm a writer, I'm a communication expert, I'm a teacher because I train young communicators as well, and I love tourism. Bernard, if you remember, one of the books I did many years ago was part of the discussions at the time this heritage thing started. So here I am. I am enjoying having fun just like all the others. So who am I? I'm Kofi Akpabli.
Wonderful. You've been on almost all the heritage caravans. How special is the heritage caravan generally? That's question 1. And question 2, how different is 2025?
Okay, so yes, I've been on all. And the heritage caravan is one of a kind. It's a party on wheels. It's discovery. It's also self-discovery because people are not just finding new things; they are also learning about themselves, how the extent to which they can go in terms of engaging these attractions and these trips that we are taking across country. It's also an opportunity for people to learn. The fun you can't even imagine. It's on the bus and off the bus. But the important thing concerning the learning is that people are having fun, and yet any question that they have with respect to the geography of the places they see, the history of the places they see, any question they have, the question is answered expertly. If it can be answered, it will be researched and answered later. So the caravan is one of a kind. People come and they come again. You know, that makes a difference. They don't just come and forget it. They come, and if they could, they keep coming.
I see. So what is special about this year? What's different about this year?
Okay, so this year started through Accra. And before we left Accra, we did a tour of the Accra we all are familiar with. And Bernard, you'll be surprised that although people live and work in Accra all their life, little things they didn't know. And some were actually asking, so how come we don't know ABC? So it started from Accra, the tour proper, and then we experienced one fest for the first time in Ho. We did a food fair, and on display, sumptuous, delicious snacks, full meals, and people were like, wow, this is beautiful. Then we did another fest. We entered Oti region for the first time. The caravan stepped there, and people experienced this region, which is named after a river. Many people don't even know that. We climbed through the region southwards. We cleared Jessican. We cleared towns like Nkwanta. We did Asa. And then at a place called Damango, different from the Damango, which we just left, we entered into the northern region. And in the northern region, we cleared Bimbila, did a famous spot called Adibo, where there was a famous battle between the Dagomba and the German. Then we entered Yendi. And at Yendi, we had a great time. We were hosted by the Yana store. And so these just on this stretch between day 1 and day 4, these are the new things. And it hasn't ended because we still have more days and more things to experience ahead of us.
What can you say about the vegetation, the landforms, the climate, the housing as you drive around that part of the country?
Yes. I like what you said. Ghana is blessed. I always say that we are not a boring country in terms of vegetation because right from the moment you leave Accra, you see the grassland, savanna grassland, and as we kept driving northward through the Volta, you could experience a change in the vegetation, and you find that the forested areas were becoming a feature. And then as we entered Oti, you could begin to experience another change. By the time we got to the northern region, you know that yes, the savanna has welcomed you, where you have much bigger trees, more dispersed forest areas. So it is interesting because people begin to experience that, wow, these are the changes that come along as you trek through our lovely country. And for the savanna in particular, this is just another phase because there's a greener phase during the rainy season, which also comes with its beauty. So we are experiencing a variety of landscapes and vegetations, which adds to the enrichment caravanites are experiencing.
You were in Tamale and then you are moving through Savannah. I know you like the northern part of Ghana generally, and you talk a lot about the drinks, their clothing, the food, even the trees. What is it about the northern part of Ghana that fascinates you so much?
Okay, so in northern Ghana, there's a reason for everything. So some of the things that we are not familiar with, when we see them, we begin to get it when we are educated. So the trees, let me take the share. The share is one of the toughest trees you can ever find. The seed is what is processed, actually dried, roasted, crushed, and then processed into the shea butter that we all love. The fruit of the shea is actually very sweet. It fruits around April, May, and then they do the gathering, and then they process into what we call the shea. But interestingly, here, shea is not just for cosmetics. It's also actually edible, which is very nutritious compared to the oils that we are known for and used to down south. There are other bigger trees like the baobab, which serves a variety of purposes. You know, the baobab is also referred to as a tree of life. The leaves are used for soup, dried or green. Delicious. Delicious as always. And then you have the dawadawa. That's another big tree. The dawadawa looks, when it is ripe, the fruit is like a flattened banana, green. But when you cut it open, the pulp in there is yellow, very sweet, powdery, and it's used for juices. The seed of the baobab is what is processed into what we all know, the dawadawa. That's very, very important food item. Dawadawa is not just your spice. It's also a flavor. And it's also vegetable, actually.
Mm.
So these are some of the trees I can remember offhand, Bernard.
Wonderful. So today you're on your way to the Mole National Park, which we visit a lot of times. You will do the Larabanga Mosque, and then you will be headed towards the Bono region. You'll be using the Western Corridor Route or the N12. A lot of Ghanaians in Accra have never used that road, and I mean, the first time I used it, it was a very different to say the least. Just give us a sense of what you are expecting for today.
Okay, so the road to Mole from Bolga has been good so far. Many years ago, in this neighborhood, one of the most notorious roads, Bole Bamboy, Solar Tuna, you know it. But we have come a long way. Now, when we do Mole, I said Mole, on this caravan trip, we do the right thing. We call places by the right name. Yesterday we were in Paga, not Paga. So when we get to Mole, we expect to enjoy big game, such as the elephant. And then when we leave Mole and we drive southward, we are going to experience the M12, like you mentioned. Hopefully, caravanites are not going to experience some situations like we did on the Tamale and Paga stretch. A few of the stretches here today as we drive southward will not be the best, but we can manage it. We can manage it. So far, so good. We clocked our 7th reading when we entered Savannah this morning. That's just by the way of the tallying.
Wow.
And by the time we get to Sunyani, we would have cleared about 10 reasons.
Generally, we talk about tourism that we need to do domestic wise, and there are two problems: the infrastructure, the roads not being very good, and the hotels also not being up to scratch, and also the cost of hotels very, very high. You've done caravan for, I don't know, 7, 6, 8 times, I don't know. Are we seeing improvement in that so that there will be a higher uptake? Because it seems to me as if a lot of the visits to Ghana and even Ghanaian tourism is mainly Accra, Cape Coast, Brig Gardens, that type of thing. People don't really venture up further beyond that. Are you seeing improvement to merit more local tourism?
Oh, yes. There's always room for growth, room for improvement. Caravanites are seeing opportunities that they can actually take advantage of, because some of the attractions and destinations are quite new to them, and they see the potential. Of course, beyond infrastructure, hotels, waiting rooms, stopovers. You also have the crucial question of service. The hotels you've experienced so far have been very good with service, but that doesn't mean that service has improved across board. One can say that, okay, they know caravanites are coming, so they were on their best behavior. But service is also an area that we would need to work on hard, so that when the tourists come, they will have reason to come again. I would also want to mention sanitation across board, because when you do Ghana, the truth is that you are going to see beautiful things, but you're also going to see nasty things. You are going to see littering along the streets, in communities, and sometimes this gets you, and you wonder what tourists will feel. What does it take? The question is, what does it take to keep our environment clean? So these are some of the things that we need to examine if we want to go to the next level with our tourism, domestic tourism, as you have